Hi, you're welcome to Brothers Code, and my name is Shay Daniels. It's such a joy to have you here. Brothers Code is an initiative that God has laid in my heart to help raise the bar for men by speaking about things that have to do with men, having conversations about things that we don't talk about. And you're welcome to Brothers Code.
Hello. Yeah, so I'm Ayo. So I'm just going to share a bit about my life and forgive me if it's a bit shaky, it's unscripted. I'm just like saying it how it comes. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So from when I can remember, let's say like I was 16, 17, fresh out of high school, ready to go to uni. At first, I wanted to study computer science, but then I kind of changed my mind later on and chose to study civil engineering for my undergrad. So I went into school, civil engineering, Covenant University. Then, yeah, so I was doing my courses, doing well, everything was fine. Then I think the story starts from when I got to my final year and I had to have an extra year because I failed the course in the last semester of my final year. So I had to like come back to school in the second semester. All my friends that graduated, like I felt so down. That was like my first major heartbreak, my first major disappointment. That was the first time I tasted failure in my life, and I was like, wow, I really messed up. I didn't. My parents would be proud of me. I felt really down, and that was like the point that my life started changing. So first thing I did was that I told myself, okay, this has happened. There's nothing you can do to stop this. So what's the way forward? So I told myself I was going to like try to make money to pay my fees. That's the fees for the second semester that failed. So I started to like think, started to do some research, went online, what are the ways I can use to make money. Fresh out of uni then, I think I had some savings, but that was not enough. So I told myself like I needed to do something. I had to start something. Like I'm not a baby anymore. So I started to do my research. Then I kind of found out like I could do like media importation at that point. So I started selling screen protectors. I don't know. I think this is what was like 2017 ish. So around that time, the iPhone screen protectors that were available that time weren't like full screen. It was the edges of the phones were still exposed after using the screen protector. So I think that was when I started. So I checked on it. I found a way to like import it from China at a really good deal. I think I was getting about 5 pieces for about 5,000 naira. Then I'll like when it gets to me after like 15 days, sometimes it takes up to a month. Then I started trying to sell it. I posted it on Jumia. I used to like look for there are these wheelbarrow guys in Nigeria that like push trolleys around the way, selling phone accessories and all. Started walking up to them and telling them, "Oh, I have this product. It's a nice product. It sells for this price, but I can give you for." I think it sells for like 3,000 naira, 4,000 naira at that time, and I was giving them for like 8,500. And I would just go to them. I would go to different locations I've never been to before, like I was not really for I'm kind of from a rich background, I would say at that time. So I was not really exposed to the way things are on the streets, the way like people struggle. Like not as if I didn't struggle, but mine wasn't as bad as the society was. So it was kind of new to me. So I went everywhere. I approach these guys. I try to strike a deal with them. The ones that will scam me. The ones that didn't scam me, then I made the money off them. So I started making a bit of money for my first bat. I think I was able to raise from 5,000 to like 15,000. I invested the money again. And I kept going like that. I kept going like that. Then when I got substantial, I think about 100,000 at that point, I switched into phones instead of like buying just protectors now because I didn't really need a lot of capital for that. I think I started buying iPhone 6 then. I just looked for some guys online. They run like businesses where, okay, there's someone in the US, you search online on OfferUp or Let's Go, then like you negotiate with the buyers in the US and then they'll give you a price that they want. Like basically, it's for used phones, for used gadgets, anything used. Can be a toaster, it can be just like Facebook Marketplace now. So like that's how it was. So I'll just go online, I'll search on offer off, search on let go, just try to look for items I could make profit on. So I started selling Apple products, iPhones, iPads, Apple laptops. Like gradually, I started going gradually. Let me start from where I started from iPhone 6 then. So I got one iPhone 6. I used it for a few months trying to sell it. After using for 2-3 weeks, someone offered me, I think I bought it for about 50,000-60,000 at that point, and then someone offered me something a bit higher, about 90,000. I was like, wow, this 30,000, I don't really need a phone. Who's calling me? Like, so I just sold it. I think after I sold the phone, I was able to get the money to pay my fees. So I was like, okay, mission accomplished. That's the reason why I started the business at first, because of the failure. And I felt like, okay, if I could like just pay the fees, it show my parent that okay, like I'm actually putting effort in these things. I'm not just a failure. It's not as if I didn't put in effort or I didn't try my best at school, but like, okay, I'm going to pay the fees, and then it just gives them a bit of hope that yes, I'm not a useless child. Not as if they try to do that, but like, I just wanted to like feel fulfilled a bit. So I was able to do that. I went back for the exam, got a distinction in it, obviously, because I was only doing one course in a year. So I had no excuse. I had a year to prepare for it. So I continued the business. I was like, okay, what next after life? I started looking for jobs. I kind of worked in a on road construction project, but I was like I was not, the pay then was not, I was making more from the business than what I would get from the salary I was getting. So I was like, I think I should just focus more on this. So I was working at a road construction project at that time, and I was also like doing my business. The business started growing like fast. It was moving fast. It was moving so fast. I started importing like 10 phones, 15 phones, 20 phones. Like it was even go faster than me. I started looking for ways to like import in bulk instead of buying phones from individuals. I started getting like suppliers that could give me like 10 PCs, 15 PCs, just depending on the amount of capital I had. So in a space of in about a year, I moved from starting a business with 5,000 naira to like a multi-million naira business. And I was like, wow, like, is this like how my life can change in a year? Like, if you told me something like this last year, I won't believe that I'll be at this point. But like, I just kept going. Then I also need to chip in my Christian background as well. My father was I in the church, like a minister in the church, not the main pastor, but like the supporting act, like a deacon, something like that. And my mom was also like in charge of prayers and things like that. So ever since I was a child, I was always going to church. Like I didn't realize why I was going to church. It was when I got to uni, I finally like found my own personal relationship with God. I was just following my parents to church. Like I just know every Sunday you have to dress up and go to church. So that's how I was. Not as if I wasn't following, I was reading the Bible. I was participating in Bible quizzes like we all do as children and all. So I did all those things, but like it was when I was in uni that I actually like got my own connection with God. Like, I asked myself, like, why do you really believe in God? And then I came across, I don't know if this was a video or something, but during my research, I started studying things like the water cycle and how like the same water that are in the drainage is the same water we drink, the same pee, the water in the pee that we use to water plants is the same water that falls down as rain and then keeps going around the world. Like it was just so amazing. I believe that like it's not possible for one atom to just explode and then like the whole world just becomes perfect like that. Like how do you explain just one atom blowing up and then creating the water cycle? When the water comes down as rain or wastewater, it goes into the ground. The soil acts like a filter and then filters the water. It gets cleaner as it goes down. Then we do create boreholes to bring the water back up. Like everything was just so like it's not there's obviously someone smarter than every human on earth, like to be able to come up with something like that. So like that was one of the reasons that like made me really believe in God. So from there I started growing in the faith. So when I started making all the money at that point, like I was like, I could be like my colleagues or like other youths at that time. If you had money, you just buy the latest cars. Imagine I was fresh out of uni at that point. My mates were still like looking for jobs, like doing internships and all. So I was still like working on the side part time, and I was also like running my business full time. I started employing staff. Like I was like, how did my life like move from like this like a failure to like a success in less than a year? And I kept doing that, and I did it for, I think I did it for about 2 years. I was able to like get a shop, employ staffs. I started selling at a large scale. I started importing like 200 phones a week, 100 phones a week, like just like that. And I was like, is it just God that is doing this? Or like I felt so bad at the point, and then everything just changed so quick. So also, like, let me move on from there. Then yeah, so I started like selling on a large scale. I started getting a lot of money. I was like, oh, should I buy this car or should I buy that car? And I was like, is this me? Like I also had the urge to like just blow the money like every young, okay, not every, but like most young people would do when you get money so fast. They're like, oh, should I go and start doing drugs or like clubbing every night or getting different women or like buying the latest cars and things like that. But like I just didn't just I think because of my Christian background and like the kind of revelation that God has showed me. God told me something when I was in uni, and he said, like as long as you keep working for me, then I'll keep blessing you. So you always find me in the church. Like if I go to a new church today, I always find my way to work for God. Like I even had to, because I don't like to like be everywhere, and I'll let people notice me or know what I'm doing. I just like look for the department where I can hide and like no one really sees me, but I'm still working for God. So that's why I said I chose to join the media departments. Like there, most of the churches always have a media room, so I'll just stay inside and I'll like do all the work like I can, if possible. Like, sometimes at a point I was even running the whole media department. They will like everywhere I went to, they always like make me like the probably the assistant HOD or the HOD. Like I was just like finding it so easy. Like I was not even looking for it. I was not like trying to get in. I was just like fulfilling the what God told me, and he said, as long as you keep working for me, I'll keep blessing you. So I just like stuck to that word, and even till today, I'm still practicing it. I'm in a different place now, but like I'm still practicing that. So after all that, like when I set up the business, it was really successful. At a point because of things that were going on in Nigeria at that point, I had to like move. I had to like change countries. Like it was time because the main issue I had was my suppliers. They supply me, I buy goods in dollars, and the suppliers are not really, we're not reducing their rates, but dollar rates and the conversion rate was going higher. Like things were just getting so difficult. Like you keep, maybe I'm making 50,000 naira on the phone before. Now I'm making like 10, 15,000. Then some of the phones will come with issues. You sell one, you say it's faulty, you have to replace it. You have like there's so many challenges, and like the economic situation, and then safety, just a lot of things. And then like I spoke to God, and he was like, okay, there's a next step for you. I have to continue my education, go into something different. So like that was when I decided to like change countries. It was not just a decision I made likely, because I was like, oh, I have all this year, like what's the point of going? Like even if I don't work for 10 years, I'm still good. Like a lot of things like that I had to like consider, but like God told me where he wanted me to be and like what he wanted me to do. So I had to just follow God. So I think in 2020, I had to like, I didn't leave the business. The business is still running over there, but like I'm not there. So it's not running at the scale like it used to run. So now it was mainly buyer to retailers. I was selling to like customers directly, but now I mainly sell like I do like B2B now. So buyer to buy, sell to other dealers in the market. I just like try to like reduce the rates, reduce my profit a bit, and then like sell to them. So that's what I still do at the moment. But it's not like the business is shut down. Everything is still there. The shop is still running. Yeah, so that's how it is at the moment. So now I'm on a new phase in my career. I just finished my my master's in the UK. It was kind of a rough ride, switching countries and like focusing on working 9 to 5 instead of like having the freedom of going to work whenever I want, like telling my staff when to resume and when to close. Like things were I just there are just so many different things. Like I had to adapt to a lot of things, and like I just thank God for where I am at the moment. I'm like transitioning into like a scrum master, and like it's really looking really positive for me at the moment. Like things have just really changed, and like in a short time, I know it's not more short, it's about 3 4 5 years now, but like when I look at my life, I just like I see God in my life, because it's not by being smart or like reading books, or like it's not by that. Like a lot of challenges I've had to face. I had to like transition from being a rich kid to like going into the slums to work, like working with people that could like enjoy you. I was in the streets of Computer Village, where like, so if you don't settle the right person, or you don't like keep good relationship with the right people, they can make you or break you in one day. They can just like find a way to get in your shop and steal stuff, or like send people to block you on the road and like enjoy you. Like so many things. Like sometimes I look back and I'm like, whoa, it's just God. Like I don't know what I would do without God. Like, so that's just how I see it at the moment. That's just a glimpse of my story, just sharing it from you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Now it's some questions.
Okay.
So you've expressed where you've come from. Where are you now? What are you doing? You said you came here for studies.
Yes.
How did that go? What are you doing now?
Okay, yeah, that went really well. Like it was not easy, obviously, but I feel like back studying in Nigeria and studying here is really different. Studying in Nigeria, like the lecturers, most of them take pride in like trying to tell you that, oh, it's difficult to pass my course, it's difficult to succeed. If you want to get an A in my course, you have to work extra hard, do like, but here it's more like self-learning and like work on, like your effort just shows on your grades. Like you can tell yourself, okay, this course I just want to pass it, and this course I want to get a distinction, and the effort you put in, it reflects what you get. You get what you actually work for. But like over there, I feel like some people just want to make it extra difficult for you. Yeah, so that's how it is. So finishing my master's, yeah, I feel like it was a bit easier. The processes were like not more lenient. You can still fail, but like if you put in the work, then you succeed. That's just how it is. Like coming from somewhere that's tougher than this, and then putting in the effort I put in, then I know that yeah, you succeed.
Thank you for that. Just a quick question as you were speaking. So did you move to the UK by yourself?
Yeah, I did everything by myself. Like I started the process before I even told my parents. I just told my parents, oh, I've gotten admission. I already paid the deposit, and I just told them that like, oh, like I just got an admission to the UK, and I think I would like to go there to study and this, and they're like, oh, but we don't have money to like pay for your tuition and all. They're like, no, don't worry, it's sorted. Like I'll sort everything out. Like they knew I could afford it, but like they were not so sure. They were like, wow, it's a lot of money. How much is the tuition? They even wanted to try to help, and like I know they wanted to, but I just told them not to worry, that like I'll sort everything out. But like I didn't tell them until I got the admission. I already made medical. I already spoke to God. I did everything, so I knew they would accept it. Like I knew they would accept. So I just told them when I got the admission and everything was sorted. Yeah, that was when I did. So I came on my own.
Congratulations. Not many people do that nowadays. Not many people are able to achieve what you've achieved at a young age, coming to the UK, sponsoring yourself, getting your master's, completing it. So well done. I'm sure you're proud of yourself, and your parents are proud of you.
Yeah.
Going back, when you were saying about your parents saying you didn't want to go back to them because you failed your final grades or your final year, you didn't want to go back to them. What was the main reason behind it that you didn't want to go back?
I felt like a failure. I felt like I disappointed them. Like I had just one job. They paid my fees. They fed me. They gave me money for upkeep. they do everything I ask, and like all I have to do is pass your exams and get a good grade. And then I could not do that. So I felt like they did everything they could. They loved me. They provided for me. Every time I'm going to school, they always buy me new clothes, buy me new shoes. Like anything I want, they will provide for me. So I had just one job and I couldn't do the job right. So it really hits me. I know a lot of people just feel like, oh, it's normal that like it's their responsibility. Like back then in Nigeria, it's your parents going to pay your fees. So most people, a lot of people might like take me for granted, like, oh, they're supposed to do it. And my parents, why they give birth to me, they can't pay my fees and like things like that. But coming here and I see that like people don't like, I know the government does it, but then you still have to pay back. So you're taking responsibility for yourself. Like that's something different. So, but the main reason why I was like, I just felt so disappointed and I felt like I failed them and I failed myself. That was why.
See, that's a very, very honorable thing to say and do. Not many people will acknowledge and accept and embrace their failures and say, okay, you know what, I'll do something about it. But you chose to do something about it. So you said you started buying phone screen protectors. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, yeah.
Did anybody show you? Did anybody introduce you to that? Or how did you stumble on that particular industry?
Oh, nobody showed me actually. Like I just saw the gap in the market. I think the single product was just released. It just came out in China at that point. So no one had it in Nigeria. Like as long I was staying in Lagos and like that's like the tech hub for the whole of Nigeria at that point. So I knew that like no one had it there. But I knew that like it was going to come in soon because obviously someone will find it. So I just tried to like capitalize on the fact that like I noticed the product very early and like I was using the phone. I was using a phone that cracked at the edge because the screen protector wasn't full at that point. You didn't have like the 3D full screen protectors then. So I was like, well, this is a problem. Like, why can't you get screen protectors that are full, that will cover everything? Like, so I feel like I was kind of lucky to like find it very early. Yeah, I think that's just it. Like luck and God and everything together, honestly.
Nah, that's good. You decided to act on it. Many people, they'll get an idea. Nah, they'll just
Leave it like that. Yeah.
I think my questions are leading towards coping mechanisms.
Okay.
So you said when you failed your final grade, you had to cope with that.
Yes.
Then when you moved to this country, to the UK, you moved here by yourself. What kind of coping mechanisms do you have that help you to stay sane?
Okay, that was kind of difficult one. So back then when I failed the course, like I had to first like go to God. That was like God was my first coping mechanism. I was like, God, like what's like why this happening to me? I didn't want this to happen. I put in so much effort. So like, and I also like spoke to people at that point, like my mentors and my pastor, and I just told him like, well, this is what I'm going through. My dad was obviously so mad at me, like I was surprised when I had to tell him that because the graduation was coming and there was like a convocation list that came out. So I had to tell him that like my name is not on the convocation. I not tell him I failed the course. I told him my name was not on the convocation list. So not like, oh, that was wrong. I was saying, I'm not telling him I'll go to school to find out when I knew I failed. Like just trying to like tell him stuff so he doesn't just hear the news once. So my coping mechanism was, I think it was mainly God at that point. Then I couldn't really talk to most of my classmates because they were graduating at that point, and I felt like, wow, like they're all leaving me behind. They're going to like make it in life faster than me. They will do better than me. Like just a lot of thoughts were going through my head. So like I think it's just good I went through. And my mom was also really helpful because like I don't know, moms are just very special because like regardless of what you do, whether you even do drugs or you go to jail, most of the times your mom will always be with you. Like they know like you came out from them, so they can't leave you. My mom was also very helpful at that point. Then when I moved to the UK, my coping mechanism was like just trying to, I think it was the church, honestly, because it's so lonely here, it's so different. You don't just have access to talk to anybody just the way you want. Or like at uni, there's so many things that were new to me. I was seeing a lot of different people from different places, and I was like, how do I keep up with all this? Like, who am I safe with? Who can I really express myself with? So I kind of like look for a church. So the church was like really the helping, and they'll tell me, oh, don't go to this store. This store is really expensive. Go to this store. Don't go here. Go here. When you're taking the bus, take it to this side. Like I couldn't really find that connection. Like no one just sees you on the streets of London and tells you, oh, this is where you get the best deal. This is where you get. This is how you get to another city. Like no one just tells you that. So like I feel like the church is a really good community. If you are moving to a new country, the church is a really good community that can really help you. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I know some people might need to hear that. They're trying to make the transition of coming to the UK. And the reason we ask these questions is just to open the door, plant a seed in somebody else there. So, yeah, thank you for your story. Do you have any last words?
I'd just like to like give some words of encouragement, because like you don't know, like me fail that course to like change my life, because if I pass that course, I don't think I will ever start my business, or I'll just like be focused on the career path and I keep moving through the career path. Like that would have like been focused on. And I look at a lot of my peers now, where like the people I went to uni with and like where they are and where I am, and I'm like, if I didn't fail that course, I won't be here. So like sometimes God gives us this disappointment just to like propel us for the future. So like if you feel down and you feel like, oh, life is very difficult, or life is like picking you out for failure or things like that, just know that like it can be a blessing in disguise. Yeah. So that's just my ending words.
Thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. And obviously, if you need a screen protector, get a phone, iPhone.
I don't really sell that anymore. Now it's everywhere. So
yeah, so you know the face to go to for a deal. Just say, look, your boss gave me. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story. This is Unscripted Stories, and you've been watching Ayo. We appreciate it, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.